A notary public discovers that a longtime client has been using notarized documents to engage in fraudulent activities. What is the most appropriate course of action for the notary? Let's have a look at the 4 choices to determine our solution. Choice A states, continue to provide notary services as usual, as the notary is not responsible for the client's actions. In fact, it is incumbent upon the notary public to ensure the integrity of the notarial process and to act within the ethical standards required of a notary. If the notary was to continue providing services knowing that the documents may be a part of fraudulent activities, that would compromise the notary's ethical standards, and therefore choice A is not the correct solution. Choice B states, refuse to provide further notary services to the client and report the activities to law enforcement. Indeed, this seems to be the prudent action to take because the notary, as I mentioned before, should certainly not continue to provide notary services, and ensuring that law enforcement is aware of the fraudulent activities is of utmost importance. So therefore, choice B seems to be the correct solution, but before we mark it as such, let's have a look at the other 2 choices just to be certain. Choice C states, warn the client about the legal consequences of fraud. Now, this would not be sufficient because the client, for instance, can ignore the warnings of the notary and continue to perpetuate the fraud. As well, the notary public, it can be argued, would be moving into the legal advice realm, and we cannot make the assumption that the notary public in this question is a lawyer as well, and only lawyers can practice law. So therefore, choice C is not the correct solution. Choice D states, request a detailed explanation from the client before deciding on further actions. This as well would not be enough for the notary public to be maintaining his or her ethical standards and the integrity of the notarization process, and therefore choice D is not the correct solution, which leaves choice B, refuse to provide further notary services to the client and report the activities to law enforcement, as the correct solution.